Before he headed to California, Andy Murray had some work to do in London, and ATP World Tour Uncovered was granted an Access All Areas backstage pass to filming for Murray's latest commercial. On set, a touch of flair helps, as it does in the day job.
I always tried to be quite creative on the court, tried to use a lot of variation, you know, have different pace of shots, try and play an all-court game.
There is only one target: perfection.
I think trying to add new things to your game is always important. I think when you feel like you're not improving, you know, then that's obviously a bad sign.
The commercial storyboard centred around an essential part of Andy's game: his racket.
Well, it's the most important thing, and yeah, I find it very difficult to change or make any changes to my rackets, because it's the most important part of a tennis player's equipment.
If you hadn't become a pro tennis player, what kind of job would you have today?
In the commercial, Andy has a surreal daydream. But the reality is that last year was one to savour.
It was my best season on the tour. Had my best results in the Grand Slams. Won 5 tournaments, and it was good. Most consistent year I've had for a few years. A lot of it's the experience, and then learning how to deal with losses better. After the Australian Open, I struggled a little bit, but then I also had a few tough losses in some of the other Grand Slams, and I came back well from each one of them, and that was what was pleasing for me. And I think, yeah, just becoming more mature and more experienced.
2012 began brightly in Brisbane with victory over Alexander Dolgopolov.
And he's got it.
But his week at Indian Wells ended in a shock second-round exit.
You can plan and expect to do well, and sometimes you don't do well, and also sometimes you might be expecting to not do so well and you do very well. So you need to have a plan for the whole season and stick to it, even if the results aren't going well. You need to stick to what your plan is and trust it.
Andy will be back stronger. He's been coping with great expectations ever since his first title at San Jose in 2006.
I mean, I always look back to when I won my first tournament on the ATP Tour, because I was still very young. I was only 18 at the time, and my coach wasn't with me at the tournament, so I was kind of on my own there. And I won the final. It was 7-6 in the third against Hewitt, who was one of my favourite players when I was growing up. And that was the first time you really start to feel like you can, when you win a tournament, that you can go on to do good things, and yeah, to win against a great player like Leighton was special.
He's grown up as Britain's great hope, and carrying that burden means taking it easy on himself whenever he can.
I just like to be at home, like to spend time at home, spend very few days just around the house, not doing much. I'll watch a lot of other sports, like watching sports, spend a lot of time with my dogs. It's nice to just be at home when you get the chance.
If a first Grand Slam is the major target, one title is the dream.
I mean, winning Wimbledon, I think for a lot of players that would be right up there. Yeah, getting to world #1 also, I think, is an achievement that nowadays I think is very, very difficult because of how consistent the guys at the top of the game are. You need to play well for pretty much the whole year, and in all of the big tournaments you need to perform well.
Next week on ATP World Tour Uncovered, presented by Rio, we spotlight another American legend, 4-time Grand Slam winner, Jim Courier. We've all the action and reaction to the climax of the BNP Paribas Open at Indian Wells. And don't forget to log on to atpworldtour.com for your 24/7 breaking news, and talk with us on Facebook and Twitter. See you next week.